What's going on, everybody? I think what I'm going to do today is install my sway bar right here. This thing is freaking heavy. So I'm not sure what brand this sway bar is, but I did score it off a hatch, EF hatch from the junkyard. Practically got it for free because it had so much stuff in the wheelbarrow that I didn't include this to the cashier. I was missing a bracket, which I was sure that I had, but I ended up making one out of flat stock right here that you can just kind of get from Home Depot, like so. And it was the same thickness and all, so it kind of worked out. I didn't record it because when I made this, it was during the episode of The Walking Dead, and I was kind of off and on, so I wasn't consistent making this bracket, but I did finish it the same night, and it seems to fit and work just as well as this one. So today I am going to attempt to install it after looking up some pictures online and friends that run like the 22 mil bars. They have fitment issue, not fitment issue, they have like tight fit with the exhaust depending on the diameter of your exhaust, and in their case 2.5. My exhaust was custom welded up there by myself, so it's tucked up pretty high. It currently clears a lot with the stock sway bar, so I don't think this should make too much of a difference. But when the car gets turboed again, the CRX, it's gonna have a 3-inch exhaust system on it, so it may have fitment issue then. So here we got a digital caliper to measure in millimeters how thick this bar is, and we are at 22 millimeters. So I'm not tracking my car like you would use the sway bar for, but it's always nice to have all the suspension components you've ever dreamed of growing up. So having this installed on the car, we'll see how much of a difference it makes if or whenever I drive the car again. So upon finding my brackets in the lower bin over there for the sway bar, I also found these in the box, and I wasn't quite sure what these were or where it came from as far as underneath the car, but I did pick this up with the sway bar, and I could be wrong, but I think at the time this was it's a fucking spider. Damn bastard. Scared the living butt crap out of me. Look at this guy. Anyways, this was bolted to the lower control arm, right? So I'm looking at the control arm, the wheels right here. This was bolted to the control arm, and then this swivel was bolted to the end link. So I'm gonna try to fit it like the stock location of the stock sway bar without using that little bracket for the lower control arm section, and see how that goes. It already looks to be a real tight fit right there, but that's the stock end link, and hopefully with this adjustable one I'd have more play to kind of shift around and find the one that works. The other issue, this sway bar is literally right above this 50 bar. You can kind of see the little light in between right there, but given that this is a lot bigger, it may close that gap, but we won't know until we try, right? So we are changing out the stock bracket here to put this corresponding bracket to the 22 mil, and they are 14 millimeters up top. I'm using a 1/2 inch with a 1/2 inch extension for leverage. Break that. Okay, it's already loose. Okay, both of them are pretty loose, but where's my... So this guy back here is also a 14 millimeter. I'm not taking the sway bar off the bracket just because it's gonna come off as one unit. Another issue that I'm now noticing is, okay, it's not an issue because this sway bar end link thread is actually a 14mm nut on here. So that means this will bolt into, this will thread into the lower control arm because this is also 14mm. That's good. And that's that. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side. Alright, so left side is out, and here you can see the two bars, I guess, having sex. Definitely huge thickness difference. I'm not 100% sure what size is the stock sway bar, but let's measure it. So right there, 15mm sway bar plus or minus versus 22mm. I'm gonna go ahead and fidget around with the brackets, see how that all works out, what bolts line up, and then I'll show you how it fits. Alright, so this is what I concluded. So the stock, I don't know if you can see it, or somewhere, I don't know where it went. Where'd it go? Right here. The stock tow hook that goes right up here. So these two bolts right here belongs to the stock sway bracket. This one is the tow hook, which goes right here. I don't know if you can see it. This bracket is super long, so the two that lines up is the end of the sway bar bracket to the rear tow hook location. End link to the sway bar is semi-bolted up to the rear control arm to kind of get the sway bar to sit where it should be sitting, and then that led me to these two bolts to be used to hold this bracket up in place. It's loosely up here right now because there is a lot of adjustability, but I think that's going to work out. It sits a little back, so it's not really like resting on top of this bar, which is perfectly fine. The wheel is jacked up, preloaded, as far as it can go up, so the end links can be adjusted to that. The center hole is what lines up to the end links to keep it vertical like that. The other way, not so much, but I do have one more hole adjustment to pull the end link back to get that straightened out. I may do that, but I'm gonna go ahead and install the bracket and all the other shenanigans on the other side before I tighten everything down and make my adjustments. Putting a sway bar on my CRX.
Nice.
Bro, you want me to take my van? What mob in my van, bro? But you can drive it. So I just got off the phone with my buddy Alex. If I was ever headed to SoCal, Alex and his little family are the people I usually roll with. They're always down to mob. So we are planning to head to the Chronicles. I haven't been to the Chronicle in like 2 years, and I was in the shows before that every other year, and I just want to be out there, collaborate with some of the people. Mark from Honda Street Garage is going to be out there, and he's coming from the East Coast, so it's going to be dope to kind of collaborate with him, get an event coverage for you guys out there, just because I'm watching a squirrel over there trying to jump onto the branch from the fence. Okay, he's got it now. Anyways, so I gotta finish the sway bar. So if you guys are gonna be out there at the Chronicles, you're watching this video now, be sure to come find me and some of the other homies and say what's up. because it's always nice to collaborate with some of the subscribers as well. So all right, so I had to move this end link, which currently is now on the right side, and it was on the left, causing the end link to be too much of an angle. They seem to line up to the center one, just like this one over here, and that one is nice and straight. I think what I want to do is kind of shift the sway bar over, because you can see this one is still at a slant to the right. I did move the top bolt from the center 3 bolt. I don't know if you can see it. Center 3 bolt to the furthest one back to get this portion to be straight. I don't know if you can see that. This one's pretty straight, but everything is still loosely in place. Car is preloaded. You can see it is currently not on the jack stand, which is very, very dangerous. But I do want to get this to be preloaded so I can set the sway bar parallel to the floor, which is what I'm talking about. Parallel to the floor is this angle here, so that means I have to adjust this end link to bring this sway down so it's parallel with the floor, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now and finalize all of this. Oh my god. So the left side was fairly easy, given that the sway bar is not in the way or interfering with anything over here. On this side, we obviously have the exhaust, and now that I'm looking at it, it is a real tight fitment with a 2.5, and I'm just a little worried that when I throw my 3-inch on here, it's definitely gonna hit here, because it is hitting it now. But then again, this exhaust was made for this car, so it sits on all the stock mount locations. I'm not 100% sure where my 3-inch sits, but if I have to modify it in the future, I have a lot of room to come this way to clear all of these guys. So right now, this it's like probably less than a millimeter away from the nut, and same for the bottom right here. I don't know if you can see it, but I had to put a cup rubber boot in place to keep it from vibrating, but that doesn't make any difference because it is hitting here, there, whatever. The car is loud anyways, I'm not worried about it. But sway bar is done. So what I had to do was move the end link to the outer left or inner bolt hole, because I snapped this one right here in half, right there, and I had to move this one over here as well to even it out, but they are straight, everything's tightened down, and that's pretty much it for the sway bar install. Hopefully I kind of covered it somewhat. It's pretty straightforward, nothing too complicated. So I'm going to end the video here. That took a lot longer than it was supposed to, but the fact of the matter is, it is done. So I won't be able to test the difference between the stock and the 22mm upgrade on the sway bar because the car is still on jack stand. I hope this video helps you get a better idea of the sway bar mounting locations and how to remove or install an aftermarket or a stock one for a car that does not have a sway bar. So that's going to pretty much wrap it up for this video. If you guys are in the Corona area and or attending the Chronicles Year 9 meet, I will be out there. Come find me. I will be wearing a straw hat with a big ass falcon feather up top. You can't miss it. Say what's up. I'll be vlogging, so hopefully I'll be interacting with some of you guys and definitely some other YouTubers out there. But I will definitely see you guys next time. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys.